the Lions decided not to franchise tag him. And, if a team like the Bucks did this, I wouldn't mind it. Like, I wouldn't think about it, because Bucks don't really need Kenny Golladay. Because they got AB, they got Chris Godwin, they got Mike Evans, But the Lions are in desperate need of a wide receiver. Why would they not just franchise tag Golladay? A little skeptical of that. But we don't know. It could have just been a falling out. It could have been a Matt Stafford situation where he just said, let's get rid of all those players and let's just rebuild from scratch. And I think there's good linemen and good receivers out there that people should be going after. Alright, so back to the Bears. The Bears-Seahawks saga. Apparently, the Bears didn't have any players protected. They went after... they could have taken Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack if they wanted to. But the Bears are getting criticized, and I'm a victim of this, obviously, because I criticized them yesterday for what they were doing. But I mean, on the positive side of things, at least they tried, But let's go back to the negative side of things. Ryan Pace has failed miserably at GM. And I mean, Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack are great defensive players, but I'm not giving up anything unless I'm getting a quarterback in return. But they don't have enough to get Wilson. I said this before, but, it looked like... I mean, I understood what they meant when they said they made an offer the Seahawks can't refuse, but apparently... Yeah, they can refuse it. But if Wilson said, I'd go to the Dolphins or Jets, I think that trade would happen in a week. Because you could get the number 2 pick, Zach Wilson, and maybe like Quinnen Williams or some, nice defensive asset. Or the Dolphins, you could get Tua and the 3rd pick, and with that 3rd pick, you can get Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. And get a second receiver behind Metcalf, And the Dolphins, I think, would not only be a good team choice, like, for winning, it would be a good lifestyle choice. Like, you see what Brady's doing in Florida. It would be a good lifestyle choice for Russ. And he'd do well there. Devontae Parker, Will Fuller just on there. Gesicki, Brian Flores, a great defense. But really, my question is, why would you listen to an offer and not counter on it? I don't know. So Gonzaga... So I saw this poll question on the Dan Patrick Show. It was, who do you have winning the tournament? Gonzaga, Baylor, or the Field? So Gonzaga, Baylor, or anyone else. So... I mean, the number 1 overall seed doesn't normally win the tournament. Like, the overall number 1 seed hasn't won the tournament since 2013. So, it would be tough to pick Gonzaga. But, I mean, the bubble, it's a lot different. No traveling. So that can change everything. But I'd pick the Field, and I think 54% agreed with me on that. I think Illinois might be the disruptor in that, because they have, obviously, the 3rd best odds to win, so a lot of people are high on them. And then it's Michigan probably disrupting it, too. So I think it's the other 1 seeds that are kind of getting in the way of this. Not like some shocker team like, I don't know, Creighton, But I'd definitely take the Field, because... it just doesn't seem like... It just doesn't seem like Gonzaga... And again, another point to make, a team hasn't gone all the way, like, without losing a game since the Indiana Hoosiers. That's another point to be made. It's tough. It's tough. It's going to be tough for Gonzaga to go all the way undefeated. So I just don't have Gonzaga winning it, and I'm not going to go with Baylor either. I'm going to have to put some thought into it, Alright. So I want to talk about the NBA MVP race. We start talking about the MVP race earlier and earlier every year. Think about how many changes have been made. Embiid was in the conversation early. Now he's sliding a bit because of the injury. LeBron was the favorite. Then AD was out and he started to slide. Now he's back apparently. Curry was there, but now they're out of the playoffs and not many people are high on them. Durant isn't playing right now. I don't think Giannis is going to three-peat. And KD's not playing. Kawhi's not up there right now. That leaves Harden. I wouldn't give it to Harden because of what he did in Houston. You can't be the least valuable player for one team and then go to another team and just become the most valuable player like that. And you know who else I throw in there? Damian Lillard. I like Damian Lillard a lot. I think we take it for granted a bit. But I think he's one of the 3 clutchest players in the league. LeBron, KD, I think, Lillard. I know Lillard's the best clutch shooter in the league because sometimes being clutch is like passing the ball sometimes. Don't always have to hit the shot to be clutch. So Lillard is clutch shooter in the league. He has them at the 5 seed, so. And obviously, I'd like to throw in CP3, but his stats are not good enough to get it. I see his value, though. Butler's another guy who I see value, but he's not putting up stats. So, I don't know what's... And MVP is clearly not based on value anymore, so should probably stop with that. Giannis was the MVP last year, but I never thought the Bucks were going to win the championship. I thought the Lakers were going to win the championship, and they did. That's value. But what Harden did in Houston, I think alone, makes him not deserving of the MVP. So we're actually winding down here. This is another quick podcast. I know I said it'd be long, but I got through the long stuff pretty quickly. So this is probably going to be like 30 minutes. Alright. So, you know who I still like? Because obviously today I'm feeling a lot more positive than I was a couple days ago. I like Washington. Potential is a scary word, and that's what they have. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson. McLaurin's probably a top 10 receiver. Curtis Samuel is very productive. Not a top 10, but he's productive. Antonio Gibson, 11 touchdowns last year. They got a solid defense. They got Ron Rivera, one of the best coaches in the league. But you don't have anything until you have a marquee quarterback. And, Fitz would just be better at being a backup because what do we know about Fitz? We know he's good at being a relief pitcher. We know he's a hell of a relief pitcher. But we also know he's not a good starter. Alright. So, God, I'm so close to the end right now. It's annoying how short this was, but that's fine. I've realized whenever I go to Dan Patrick for info, I have a much shorter podcast. And I think it's because Dan Patrick's podcast is more based on all these jokes and all that I can't do on this. So he kind of fills his time with that more. So, well, he fills his time with that. He fills his more time with jokes than Colin Cowherd does. So whenever I go to Colin Cowherd for guidance, I have a longer podcast. When I go to Dan Patrick for guidance, I have a shorter one. I think both of them are great. I think they're the two best in the game right now. I think the four best analysts are Greenberg. I know we're a little mad that he stole the hour from Le Batard, but I like Greenberg. I think he's good at what he does. I think Greenberg. I haven't listened to Jim Rome yet. I'm gonna listen to that, but I've heard he's very good. Dan Patrick and Colin Cowherd. I think they're the four best. But here's a guy that's also probably top 4, top 5 fat hit at what he does. Deshaun Watson. He's getting another lawsuit. The more and more lawsuits this guy gets, the more his stock goes down. And that's actually worse for the Texans because they're not going to get as much in return as they would have. And the stock is already going down because they're taking so long. But then again, it's good for other teams because now they're not going to get, now they don't have to give up a lot because this is probably going to tweak the Texans to trading him, but do you really want a guy that has a bunch of lawsuits in his, in his back pocket, So, this probably reduces how much teams are looking to give up. And it probably increases it doesn't increase everything, my bad. But this might get the Texans to finally say, okay, we gotta get rid of him. But I'm kinda shocked that a guy like Watson would go to this kind of stuff. I also never thought Russell Wilson would go public, so, a lot of things are happening this offseason that are not normal. Anyway, this is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We hit 100 downloads on Spreaker. Or iHeartRadio, wherever you may be, however you may be listening. This is Dylan. This is Daily Dose of Dylan. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.